Hey everyone, Swarly here, and today we are building this tavern you see behind me. This thing was a lot of fun and there's a lot to it, so let's get started. And as always, like and subscribe. So starting out here, we have two basic shapes. We have an upside down L and the D. We're going to be starting with this L shape. Now, this is going to be a little bit higher up than the lower D. This is going to be the main portion of our tavern, and this would be the main bar area and focal point of it. As well, this will house the second story for the build. For materials on this, we're using a lot of stone, dark oak, spruce, and white concrete. Of course, if you guys want, you could always use like a white wool if you like the way that looks better. I personally just thought this looked a little better overall with a very clean white concrete. So let's finish up our structural beams here. Then we're going to start filling in with the white concrete again and add some texture with spruce planks. Now you're going to have to trust the process here because I know it does look a little weird at first, but when it comes together, it looks really good. On this beam that's offset right there with the spruce, we are going to end up evening out that left side of the beam to match up with the right. So we're going to add our first viewing window here, and there's actually quite a few of these in this tavern, which is something I actually really love about it. Moving from this, let's go to the entryway. We're going to finish up the beams and then add another window here, and you're going to notice after we add the spruce, we're actually using oak trapdoors instead of glass for the windows. Now you could use glass, that's up to you. I just feel like the oak trapdoors add to the general ambiance of the build. I'm actually really curious to see how people interpret these builds, so if you do end up actually building this, make sure you go to the Discord and post it in there or tag me in your builds, because I would love to react to it. Now let's start one of the most tedious parts of this project, and that is the roof. This thing was a struggle. It didn't matter how much I planned this out, I struggled a lot with this. Roofs are just difficult, okay? You're also going to see that I started using purple here. I decided this partway through and thought it'd be a good idea that anything purple that I'm using, you can actually end up deleting in the end. It's really just a placeholder block that's really nice to have when you're building stairs so you can get them to go the right direction. Now we're going to begin on the second story of the tavern. So we're going to put down our purple, finish out the roof to the end, and then start building the structure for it all. Also, I haven't mentioned yet, but for the roof, we're actually using the nether brick stairs. I was going back and forth on what color, if we wanted to do like a blue or an oak, and we actually ended up landing on red, and I think it looks really good with the red nether brick tiles. We're following the same suit as the bottom. We are doing dark oak, spruce, and white concrete here. On both the left and the right side, we're going to have viewing windows. One's going to be a little lower than the other, so we're going to elevate for the interior. And I'm so excited to show you all what we have in store. For the inside of this, we've been working really hard, and I think you're going to love it. Now that we have the basics of the front done, let's work on these windows. We're doing spruce planks for the side, and on the bottom, we are doing the spruce trapdoors. It's super crucial for making this not look too chunky. And then we're going to add a little bit of wool here. Let's work our way down to this roof. Now this is going to kind of taper off a little. So we're going to be using the nether brick stairs, and we're coming down and tapering into a slab. And that's going to come off into a lip just a little bit here in the front. Remember when I said I struggle with roofs? Well, I wasn't joking. This is probably the worst part of my building skill, but we are getting better. But we're on a little bit of a struggle bus here with it. So what we're building here is an archway. There's going to be 3 archways in total for the entire thing, and the other 2 work out a little easier. But for this front one, I kind of went back and forth on whether we wanted to leave it a little wider and more open, or if we wanted to close it up and make it a little smaller. In the end, I ended up closing it and adding these dark oak fences, which add a lot of texture in my opinion and help bring the build together. And don't forget on the bottom to add those upside down staircases to make it look a little more natural. When we're finished with this archway, it is going to look a little unfinished on the bottom under the fence, but don't worry, we're going to finish that on the interior build. Let's swing over to the left here and finish up the roof on the window. And on to more of my favorite, roofing. Just to break up the monotony here, we're going to add 1 spot of concrete. This is going to lift it up and add a little contrast in the front. For the roof, we are having a bunch of different parts connecting here, so there's a lot going on. You might need to rewind a couple times to figure it out, but just keep in mind, it's a bit of a process. Don't lose faith in this. It'll come together. Now let's finish up the top of this archway and move back to the rest of the roof. You'll notice for this next section, we are going to be using the slabs. So we use a lot of slabs on the top of this build to kind of taper the build back up gradually instead of doing such a harsh arch. Now this is just the first part in a series that I've been wanting to do for a while, and what we're going to do is build an entire medieval kingdom. We're talking the castle, the village, everything you can think of we're going to add. So on this journey, if there's anything that you want to see, any builds that you think would be awesome, you please let me know and I will try my best to build those for you, because this is just the beginning. I already have an idea for about 5 or 6 builds on this, and we're just in part 1. So I can't wait to see what we're going to come up with long term. So far the ideas that I have are a tavern, an inn, a wizard's tower, a watermill, and a market and trading area. Now for this back end here, we're just going to keep building down using the stairs. It's nothing too crazy, we just have to finish filling out this backside, and then we're going to start on the back end of the archway. I notice this time and time again, but whenever I try to do an entire row really quickly, I get every space except for one, and it will drive me nuts. And now that I pointed it out, you guys will notice when I'm doing the walls. Now this is the last thing that we're doing for the main roof, and this is the back end of the archway. Now this is going to be a mirror image of the other side. You're going to see me go check it out a little bit here, just to make sure that everything lines up exactly. So we just mirror it on the back end of the house, and you are ready to move on to the next one. I do want to apologize for all the rain in this. I didn't quite understand how to do the weather cycles. I did actually figure it out at the tail end of this build, but I know this whole thing feels like we're stuck in Seattle. I recently switched from Bedrock to Java for the builds and the live streams, so I still have a lot of learning left to do. I'm so happy to be off that roof and building the wall again. Holy cow, those stress me out. All we're going to do now is we're going to take the dark oak and we're going to wrap it around the building. After we've wrapped this around, we're going to go back in and fill in all the empty spots with the white concrete. This will just give us a solid wall look, and then we're going to come back and add some more detail later. Over on the left side, you can see I didn't do the stone on the bottom left there. We are going to go back and fix this on the interior build. This is where we get to go back and actually delete some of that purple. You can delete it as you go, but I just kind of do it as necessary. So we're going to bring the dark oak up, fill in with concrete, and move on to the bottom section. There is more that we could add to the side to add more depth and texture, but what I'm actually saving that for is for our inn build. So the inn is going to be directly connected to the tavern on this left side. Let's add some finishing touches here. We're going to add some white concrete, some dark oak fences that we forgot earlier, and rotate around to the right to finish up on this end. This right side is going to look very boring. We're doing the entire thing with just white concrete, and we're doing one bar across the side with the dark oak. This is to make way for the bottom portion of the building. This is going to be a seating area for the bar, and I don't want too much going on here. I don't want it to look too cluttered. We need to finish up the concrete here, and then we are finished on the main portion of the building. At least for now. I kind of got an idea later that adds something really cool to the back end. We are in the tail end of our exterior build, and this is that D shape we talked about earlier. Now this is going to be the seating area for the tavern. And this is going to be used all of the same materials that we used earlier. That's dark oak, concrete. And we're actually going to be using the oak trapdoors heavily here. So we're going around, and everything that you see that is purple is going to have oak trapdoors on it. Once we put the trapdoors, we'll get rid of the purple, and it's going to allow for a lot of natural light to get in here and really light this up ambiently. Also, while I have you here, I do want to remind you that I stream live Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and our streams are 100% Minecraft. That is all we are playing on this channel. If you're interested in more content, I do have a second channel called Swarly Plays that is brand new, so we do all sorts of variety content over there. If you like me and want more of me, that is a great place for it. We are still trying to hit our 50 subscribers as it's a brand new channel, so we can't stream until we get that. But enough about me, let's get back to the build. Now that we get all of these shut, it's time for my next headache, and that was this roof. It actually really wasn't too bad. All you need to do is go one space out from the wall, and then keep going at an angle. So you're going to have to switch that angle left and right with how you're placing the stairs to get that nice edge moving around. Once we get to the end here, we're going to go one up and start with our planks for the next 2 layers. What do you guys think about my character? I actually struggled making one, so this is one my moderator Toast made me, and I think it turned out pretty freaking awesome. Now this is going to be a great opportunity to use those purple blocks because it really helps so much with this roof placement here. Getting those perfect angles is so precise, and these blocks help more than you'd think. And as you can see, we all make mistakes with these builds, so sometimes we got to go back in and replace a block that we missed, or maybe something that was off center. These things happen, that's just a natural part of Minecraft, so don't let it get you down. Finally, we're going to work on the doorway frame here and move inside and clean this up just a tiny bit before we really work on our interior build. Now, this video is getting a little long, so I'm going to do the interior build on part 2, but these are releasing at the same time, so as soon as you're done with this, you can hop over there and check it out. And now let's open this up. See how much better this looks once we take that purple out? It is wonderful. Let's just finish up these beams. Before we get to the doorway, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's watching this video now, that has subscribed over the past few months. We have had a significant increase in our amount of followers, especially in the Minecraft community, and I want to say thank you all so much. This door that we're working on here is actually a very common door that we're using throughout this entire build. This is going to use spruce trapdoors outlining a spruce door, and this adds an awesome effect here. We'll see you on part 2. I hope you enjoyed. Swarly out.